Donna Guest here, Creative Memories Advisor and Lazy Scrapbooker.
During my video over 2 years ago about pet albums, I promised that my little Nicholas would have his own scrapbook.
We love him, and of course, he's going to have his own scrapbook. Aren't you, Nicholas?
He's not so little anymore, and he does indeed have his own scrapbook, a 12 by 12, of the first 6 months we had him. Yeah, I take a lot of photos of him, but they are only tiny ones. The funny thing is, I use Nicholas's photos for many of my demo pages here on YouTube and also on my TikTok videos. And because of that, this cat has the fanciest album of anyone in our household. So, is this a cat album or is this an idea book? You be the judge. I used a black mica cover set because it's just so beautiful and I had it on hand. Wish we still sold this one. For the cover page, I took an idea from the Creative Memories blog a long time ago from Creative Memories blog contributor Sachio Amitsu. I love this page and I have taught it at live classes several times. All I need now is the photo on it. This font here is the Creative Memories black serif font, and the paper is not Creative Memories. I had to get that somewhere else because I was running out of pet paper. And this, of course, was the negative punches from the paw print punch by Creative Memories. I love to journal, so I had to journal the whole story about how Nicholas came to live with us. And I even included the Facebook messages from my sweet friend where we got him. If you've watched my videos, you know that one of my favorite layouts is the block layout because I love its simplicity and how many photos you could get on the pages. I've got 10 photos on this 2-page spread. It's so simple, just some paper, and I used the paw print border maker cartridge. Ooh, this is really a test for my memory. I remember doing this right here. It was a technique I learned, I think, from the Creative Memories Keep the Faith project recipe, but I love this. It looks like little slashes. They are triangles overlapping. And then, of course, put some borders on here. That is, I believe, the cable chain border maker cartridge, but I do love this technique. I love any technique where it lets you use a lot of the papers in your paper pack. But again, a really simple page layout, and this one does show what happened to Nicholas. Within 30 minutes of living in our home, he crawled into our fireplace, which we now have barricaded and with twist ties on it. So we can't use the fireplace anymore, and neither can he. But because of that, all of his, what I call baby pictures, he is gray in them, and he's a black and white cat, but look at all that gray fur. We had to take him to the vet for a proper bath to get him all cleaned up. Little curious cat. Again, another block layout, and you can't get more simple than this. That's all the paper I used right there. But honestly, with a pet album, you've got so many pictures that are so repetitive that it just makes sense. If you're going to use them all, and I didn't use them all, but if you're going to use a lot, get as many on the page as you can. Because like I said, this big album is just 6 months. He makes me wish we had a pet earlier for my son. Look how much they love each other, clearly. He had been with us all of 4 days at this point. And of course, you have to have the name story. This is a variation on the block layout, just leaving room for a title up there. Super simple. And just a sticker that I put on a oval cut out of different paper. Again, very, very simple. Oh, this is one of my favorite little go-to simple pages right here. When you've got double-sided paper, just flipping it up so you can see the other side and putting something down here in the corner. Really, really fast, really easy, and it always looks good. And the focus is on the photos. Very simple. To go with the hearts here, I felt the need to round some corners, so I got out the wonderful Creative Memories corner rounder. You know the one, it looks like this. And rounded the corners on this page. It just went nicely with the hearts. But over here with this really super easy page, everything is straight to match the one rectangle I have. And of course I have journaling. The hardest part of this album was picking which photos to print and not printing everything because he's so cute. I love this one. I've got 11 photos here, and all the design is I've got borders here, and then I covered it with some shimmer paper, which of course coordinates with the black mica album cover I'm using. I use a lot of red and blacks for him just because he's a black and white cat, and he tends to be laying on a plush red blanket in a lot of these pictures. But this is a great idea for a pet album, just documenting all the places in your house they choose to sleep. It's so cute. Again, another simple photo, and I have room for this over here because my photos aren't 4 by 6. They are typically going to be the digital size, which is about 5.5-ish by 4. So that gives me room over here for a very tiny, very simple border. Look how fast these pages can come together. Okay, so now this is a mitered corner, and I do have a video on that type of page, which I will put up in the top right hand corner if you want to learn more about that. Very simple technique to use, and it works best when you have striped paper like this, so the pattern continues all the way around. And I see something right here that needs to be folded back down, so I'm just going to reach under there and fix it. There we go. So another simple block layout right here with simple borders. Okay, now one of my, look at this. This is ridiculous. First of all, this picture is so cute, but it's ridiculous. First of all, I love this tool right here. Let me show it to you. This is a Creative Memories circle punch, specifically the dotted leaf, which is now retired. These create circles from 6x6 papers, and I've got a video in the top right corner to show you how. So I like to do that and cut them in half and then use them as embellishments in the album, as expected. Here, 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 and here. I really used a lot of ABCs right here. That's what took me the longest on this page. That is my favorite font. It is the Creative Memories Black Sans Serif font. It's not too big and it's not too small. And it comes with a lot of letters so you don't run out too quickly. Okay, now we're getting into the fancy pages, because this is when I started using demo pages or pages I did in classes with Nicholas's photos, because it's just really easy to do. He never complains about having his picture on the internet. He doesn't care. So this is actually the Lullaby Lane project recipe by Creative Memory. So the collection is Lullaby Lane, and advisors have access to these exclusive project recipes, which are 2-page layouts. That some are very easy, some are a little more challenging. I would rank this one as a more challenging, definitely, because I know when I taught this, a lot of people struggled with this, creating this rainbow effect here. And it's not terribly hard, but a lot of math and fractions involved, so it can be a little bit complicated. But it's really a baby collection, but hey, it works for him too. But I liked this right here, this technique that they had in the project recipe of just putting down lighter cardstock to journal on when you've got a darker background that really doesn't look that great with pen. And I don't know that I'd write directly on this paper here. I am one to journal directly on album pages. That's really old school, but I love doing it. I'm not afraid of it, and I just like to do that. But this looks really good here, I have to say. It's a great technique. It just doesn't give me enough room to journal, but a lot of people would prefer it that way. I just like to journal a lot. And this was the Moon and Stars Border Maker cartridge down here. This was a page I got inspiration from on Pinterest, I think, and then I taught it in one of my Tuesday night tips. If you've never seen one of those, check out my Facebook page. Here is the link here on the screen. And every Tuesday night at about 8 p.m. Eastern time, I will come on a Facebook Live, typically, with very little exception, and do a Tuesday tip and either teach you a page layout or some kind of tool tip or organizational tip. But they usually last about 10 minutes, so come join us if you haven't already. But what this was is creating these interlocking frames here. So it's a 1-inch frame cut out of a piece of paper, and then you had smaller ones interlocking with that. Again, a pretty fancy page for this cat. Oh, I love this page. I believe this was a redo from something I had created on a Tuesday tip, and I think I have a YouTube video of this. I am going to throw that up in the top corner if I do. Oh, there it is. But what I did here is I used the Welcome Home laser border embellishments and just cut them into small strips. I think they are 2.5 inches each, and it creates a beautiful border. So I did that with the Welcome Home paper so it all coordinates, and then use the Infinity border punch in with that on the Welcome Home paper. Just a really, really pretty border. And then I topped it off with a small sticker, 12-inch sticker strip there. Oh my Lord. Yeah, I took that photo right before he was neutered. You know, it was just for posterity, bless his heart. So I have that picture in here, and I've covered it up with a sticky note because it's more than anyone wants to see. But then I have recovery over here, and little sweet Nicholas, after his night at the hospital, recovered quite well. And I felt really bad because I dropped him off and then I left for a 4-day retreat. And so I felt really guilty about that, but he was fine. And it had to be done. It was definitely time. And over here, what a cute page idea. I got this inspiration from Pinterest, I believe. It was typically a 1-photo page, but you know, I can't do that. I had to have more than one on there. So I fussy cut another very similar picture there. And it's just multiple circles. That's all it is. Just circles out of different coordinating cardstocks and papers. And we have a frame here, which if you want to know how to do that so easily, it's the 12-inch trimmer. And as you know, you can cut and stop at a certain point, and that's how you get that. I cut that out of one piece of cardstock, so I ended up with an 11 by 11 sheet that I had to use for something else. Okay, these are just very, very simple. Sometimes if you want to separate different events, I just put a sticker, a 12-inch border sticker or a border through the middle, and you've got two separate sections on your album page. And I journal directly on the album page right here, very old school. This punch is so cute though. That is the Full of Love punch, and it punches those 4 hearts. Then I punched it again on a couple of other pieces of designer paper and included that. I'll zoom in here so you can see, but a really, really cute way to create a nice little heart design. And then a very simple border over here, but I got to include a peekaboo pocket. There we go. And a peekaboo pocket is wonderful because it adds real estate to your page. Now, when you attach this, you do just attach it right here to the page protector. I could undo that and put it somewhere else, no harm done. But I saw a discussion the other day on the virtual crop Facebook page from Creative Memories, and someone was asking how to use these, and the best suggestion, or the most unique suggestion I saw from a person, she says she thinks of them as little mini scrapbook pages. So she might put some cardstock in there and a couple of tiny photos, maybe some journaling, and just decorate it. So I hadn't really considered that. I'm always making sure I use it with 4x6 photos, but I need to think outside the box and do all sorts of things in these pockets. I did do that with a 6x12s to extend the page, so it can work for these too. Really, really simple 2-page spread layout. We've got a 3-inch border here and then a small border right behind that. And I included some, I believe those are Botanical Burst embellishments. And these were red. I believe that was a color we didn't sell, but I earned it for free as an advisor. And I'm telling you, there's so many opportunities to get free goods as an advisor that we don't sell. So if that's something you're interested in, check out my webpage here on the screen to learn more about it, or just contact me directly and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And maybe you might want to be a member of my team, which is called the Stretchy Pants Squad. How fun is that? Okay, this was a page, and I want to give credit to the right person. I want to say Noreen Smith developed this for Croptoberfest. I could be wrong, but this was a couple of years ago, and I know I taught this at my Croptoberfest event. So as advisors, we get a lot of ideas from the home office or a contributor like that. But this one took a little bit of time. That's why I say Nicholas has the fanciest album in the whole family. I don't do this for everybody else, but he gets the demo pages. And so basically it's the circle, and it was cut into fourths, a couple of circles cut into fourths, and then you folded that back, and that's what's creating this pretty shape right here. I just used matching paper over here and did one of my style layouts over here to make it simple, but it still coordinates with it. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think there were 3 circles, and I'm going to guess that they were about, maybe 4 inches in diameter is my guess. And then quartered, maybe 6 inches in diameter, quartered, and then folded back. A unique trick. I don't have a video for that one though. Oh, now this one was definitely created by Noreen Smith, who now works at the Creative Memories home office to provide us with all sorts of ideas. Love, love, love this layout. And again, it's a little more fancy than I would usually do, but it's using the decorative trimmer, which is this wonderful little tool right here that doesn't get enough use. But out of the 2 blades, this is using the wavy blade, not the swell, but the wavy blade. And because I do a lot of demos and teach a lot of classes, maybe a couple of sessions at each crop, I had another set. And this was with Bedazzled Hearts that was an exclusive a while back. And for this one, I fussy cut out of that one, and I actually raised it on some foam squares. So you may see a little bit of shadow behind that, but it does have a little dimension to it. Oh my gosh. Look, he has little praying hands. How precious is that? So I had to have a sweet page. These are pages I believe I did for a TikTok video maybe. But I love any page where you can use a variety of papers from one pack. And I love it even more when you're using scraps that you would normally just throw away. So basically what I did here, these scraps are 2.5 inches wide, and the height of them varies. It's all different. So I just cut a lot of 2.5 inch wide strips of different heights there, and then tied it all together with beautiful 12-inch border stickers. And this collection was Endless Meadows that is now retiring, but there are a few pieces still left. Beautiful collection, but that is a super easy border. It looks great, and it uses up a lot of your scraps. Ooh, this one's getting fancy. Again, I think I got this inspiration on Pinterest, and I did do a video on here. I don't think I can share TikTok videos, but it is on my TikTok channel, this one. So this one is basically just cutting 1 3/4 inch wide strips, then cutting a 1/4 inch off of them so they're 11 3/4 inches long. Then with scissors, cut a little V there and separate it so that it reaches both sides. So here's the 1/4 inch that you cut off. And then I put a 1/4 inch in between each one. And then to make it look really matchy-matchy, I matted the photos with a 1/4 inch mat. I usually like a skinny mat, about 1/8 inch, but of course it worked better to match those lines there. Pretty fun page. Oh, how cute. And very simple page. 2 big borders and then just one favorite photo on each side matted. He really does spend a lot of time in my office with me. Oh my goodness, I love these colors. They match him perfectly, and this is a perfect block layout. And if you're not sure, I keep talking about that a lot. If you've never done a block layout, I've got a video for it, of course. It's up in the top right-hand corner. Check it out. I'll give instruction on how to do one. It's fairly simple, but it uses very little paper. So as a person who sells paper, you know, I probably shouldn't teach it so much, but that just tells you how much I love this layout. I like for people to get the most out of their materials. Oh, and this was part of that bedazzled pack, the laser page. So this one took a minute, not too long. I didn't fill all the hearts. I probably should have with some papers, but I got lazy. I am a lazy scrapbooker. So I found, let's see, about 5 photos that would fit inside the hearts, made that work. Then one photo over here, and then used a peekaboo pocket, a 4x4, which we now sell now. 4x4 peekaboo pockets are now for sale for your smaller photos. Get more on the page. And then a super easy block layout with 6 photos over here and very little paper. This is a page I took from the Creative Memories blog. Love this idea, and I taught it at a class at one of my crops. But this was pretty simple. I can't share a blog link in the top right-hand corner, but it was from April of 2023. I don't know if that's helpful to you. I may put some of these references in the description of this video, but loved doing this one. Very cute. And this one was super simple, just a few borders, and I used my favorite border maker cartridge, the brocade chain, which is now a goner. That one is now retired. That was a great one. Probably most of you have it because that was a big seller. Love this page. I just taught this at a recent crop. For this, I used the retired Baroque frame punch, but this could work with a lot of them. This could work with the current damask flourish frame punch. And how do you know it's a frame punch? Because it has the little line going right here through the pattern in gray. Or you can look on the box and it will say frame punch. But for this page, and I got this inspiration online as well, just use the frame punch to make these embellishments, which we then sliced in half to make them go farther. And you start with a 4" by 4" piece of paper. That's all you need. I added a few rhinestones here. And for these little frames right here, for I think that was a, I can't remember the size of that photo because it doesn't matter. But you want to start with a 4" wide piece of paper and let it be long, maybe 8 inches or so. And then punch the 3 ends at one of the smaller ends. Then place your photo, and your photo is going to have to be 3 3/4 inch wide. So you'll need to cut a little bit off of it, and then trim your photo and the mat down to make it fit. But that creates a very fancy mat. Now these pages right here, this is what prompted me to say Nicholas has the fanciest album in the whole house. Oh, I love this one. This is the Cue the Blue project recipe by Creative Memories, using our Cue the Blue collection and using the Wispy Chain Border Maker cartridge. And I love any page that gives ribbons. I love that. These are just simple 12" strips, 2" by 12" strips, 5 of those over here. And then we had 2" strips over here, and just use your scissors to cut off in a ribbon shape. Pretty easy. Oh, I love this page because I love Cue the Blue. It's such a beautiful and versatile collection. These are actually the 2 pages I created for another video with the Savvy Scrapbookers, and I'm going to put that link up in the top right-hand corner in case you want the directions for creating this page. It features the beautiful cloud frame punch, which is now retired. I know things retire so quickly, but you could do this with a variety of border punches or border maker cartridges and get the same effect. I remember putting this page together. It was in my power layout box, and a lot of these materials were pre-cut and put in there. And I'm thinking I had something in mind, and then I forgot what it was, so I just threw this together. But it's, you know, hard to make it look bad when you've got these beautiful punches and this gorgeous collection. And this is featuring the brocade chain border maker cartridge there. And this cat is very spoiled, I will tell you. I think that's pretty evident from this album. Here's something I taught on a Tuesday tip. Again, more inspiration from the internet. And this is featuring the wispy chain BMC, and then again the brocade chain border maker cartridge. And so for these, interesting technique here. You're going to start with squares that are 5 by 5-ish. And it doesn't matter. It can be smaller than that. I think these are actually 5 1/4 perhaps. I think I made these smaller on my second run. I always do 2 of everything. And then you just fold one little corner down. And I used rhinestones or these enamel stickers to make it look like it's a fastener. Just folding that one corner over. And then a small mat for the photos there. But that's a pretty neat little technique there. I really need to make a video on this one. One of my customers saw this, I think on the blog, I can't even remember, and was doing it at my retreat. And so then I had to learn how, and I had to do it. And I've done this a couple of times. I believe I did it on a Tuesday tip. I really can't remember. It's a fantastic technique, either with a jumbo circle of the custom cutting system, or the circle cutter works well if you have that, if you want to use that, if you don't have the other. But I've got 2 mats there, and then you basically place your pictures where you want to have them and trim off the edge. This one takes a minute, and it's a little bit tedious to make sure things don't get moved, but you're basically just covering up every bit of the circle. So right over here, that's like some of this photo that's cut off, just put up here, so that you still have the, like this is just part of the cat bed that I cut off down here. You still have the illusion of all these photos there, but it's making a complete circle. So just attach them first, then trim them off carefully with your whatever circle cutter you're using. And by circle cutter, I mean either this right here, this is circle cutter, or with the custom cutting system, the jumbo circle and the 3 blades, because I believe that's what I used here. Yes. So I used the red blade for the photos, the green blade for the first mat, and the blue blade for the final mat in the back. Oh, this is one I did for a Tuesday tip. I love this page idea. So if you haven't joined me, you definitely want to join me for my Tuesday tips. You can get a lot of ideas there. But just creating several little ribbons of varying heights and lengths over here. 2 little strips, and these measure, it looks like 3 inches each, tied down with 2 little sticker strips there, and 4 photos. And the favorite part of this for me is that I fussy cut the feet that are coming out of there, and they overlap the sticker, and I like that effect very much. This is another blog post from Creative Memories, and this was in April of 2023. And much like this page I showed you over here, right there, it features the Totally Tonal collection. This one was tangerine and this one was red, but of course can be done with any collection. And this was a little more of a difficult page just because there was a lot of parts to it, a lot of circles, and I kind of made a lazy version using less embellishments than the original, but it's pretty fun. This one, not really a block layout, just a lot of photos and then squares filled in there so to add just some embellishments there. There's really only 4 pictures here, but that really is a pretty page. So basically all it is one background sheet of paper. Then I've got 3 stickers right there. I've got a circle and a pre-cut journaling mat there, and then lots of stickers and embellishments, and then I matted every photo. That is not a lazy scrapbooker page. I will tell you, that took me a minute. Oh, and my favorite. Actually, I think this might be one I used when I taught an online class for block layout. I think this is what I was teaching in the class. I remember doing it. But very, very simple. Look at the paper I used. 1, 2, 3. That's it. 1, 2, 3. The key with a block layout, and definitely check out my video. I'll throw it up in the top right-hand corner again. The key is to position your photos on the page so that you have these small spaces that you're going to fill in with paper. You don't want things going around a corner. You want every corner occupied by something, basically. But it really does look great, and it keeps the focus on the photos. I know I did this layout for both an in-person class and for a TikTok video. Super fun here, and it's got just a lot of squares. These squares, the dimensions of these are 2 inches by 2 inches, and they're all from the same collection. This was All My Love, which we had a few years back. I love that one. Still have some of that for sale. And just with your favorite collection, do 2-inch squares and just make a pattern, and it's in the background. And I'm journaling directly on the white scrapbook page. And again, you know, I make 2 of everything when I'm teaching these. And so this is beautiful. This is with the Botanical Burst, I think. No. This is with Capri Blue. Capri Blue, which is part of Vivid Melodies. Beautiful collection. But this one, whereas this one is more a vertical pattern right here, this one starts in the top and makes its way down to the bottom. So when doing your 2 by 2 squares, start over here, and then just kind of keep them going and meet in the middle with just some going. The pattern's not going to be perfectly even, and your photos cover up anything that you think is imperfect. And then you're, of course, going to trim off the edges here. So for something like this, I had to do it on a white piece of paper so I could trim off the edges really easily, and then I put the paper on top of here. It doesn't have to be white, though. It can be any paper of your choice. And that's it for now. I hope you got lots of ideas and inspiration for your own albums. Thanks for watching. See you later.